do interviews. I do like conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like interviews because a lot of people that do that have been doing this a long time. They're looking for like a ha moment or that kind of like lame thing. And I just think it's better just to have a conversation with somebody to see what they're really thinking about. You know what I mean? Out there when we were outside, what people don't know for the camera world is that you were saying how it's important to be at an artist's beginning, their first show, versus just popping up at the Grammys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, you finished. Congratulations.
Right.
I get a check from that.
Right.
And the support system that you give to the beginning of something, why is that important to you? I want you to tell the people. I heard it out there, but I want you to tell the people again.
I think, I've been doing it since I was 16, and I was an artist.
Yeah.
So I know what it is to be on that journey, that first step, that first song, that first show. And tonight we celebrate Honcho. We put up a show. He sold out one venue, so we put a bigger venue. He sold that out in 17 minutes. So this is that moment in his life that is going to define him on what he does touring wise to me, or what he does to the next phase of what he's doing. So I remember I was in Gunna was going to Europe for the first time. I was there for him the first time he went. You know what I mean? So about the food and all that kind of stuff, and go back to Jay's first trip, to X's first trip. It's very important to me to be there for him for the journey. I want to be the one that's prepping him. I want to be the one that's holding them up when they kind of tired. I say, come on, Keith. I want to be Coach Kev. You know what I'm saying?
I have this perspective on life, right? And this is what I think that you're saying in a smaller version, right?
Okay.
Is it's easy to be in love with the results, but you must be in love with the gym. So it looks good. How did you get it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's why so many BBLs look so bad.
I don't do that.
Got to be in love with the gym part, baby. All right, the results is not the same.
Absolutely.
But that's the small nutshell that I always tell people. I'm like this. It's one thing. The results. It's easy to be in love when the car's washed. You gotta be in love with the journey through the car wash. You know what I mean? Through the gym. So when you see,
but it is life though. Not to start to interrupt you. It's just life. You know.
In any aspect, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like my first swing of a golf club. You know me. My first song that I ever wrote. First girlfriend.
Yeah.
Go down the list. First child. You know what I mean? Go down the list. I just think it's important, and as people of color, we got to be present. And that's like, to me, I want to be the first dad at the basketball game. I want to be the last dad at the practice.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's important to me.
This thing with TikTok, I don't listen. I understand we're in times. And I would say the last 25 years, because if you have a brainstem, you would know that social media and even though the terminology of what it's called has changed, it's been going on. Mm-hmm. So people were streaming. I remember downloading Nicki Minaj off LimeWire and Drake. Like that was this. We're not in the new era. We're in like the fourth generation of the same era with just different terms and titles for the same thing we've been doing.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Nothing's changed. Why are we at this point now where we're still having to negotiate or argue about what songs are on what platforms? I don't know why they don't just cut a check to Universal or to these groups and say, hey, okay, here you go. We're going to use your music because it's helping our platform, right? I don't understand. So what's going on? So how is that dynamic going to mess up for the music industry and artists if, that doesn't work out?
Listen, it's all negotiations, man. And at the end of the day, if you're using something that is ours, it's the creators and artists that have a business relationship.
100%.
If you're using something, you should pay fair market. And you got to think, remember, it used to cost X amount for a bottle of water, and now it costs X amount for a bottle of water. So at sometimes when you're making money, and these companies say they're not making money, but
we know they are.
They're making money. So at the end of the day, we just want fair market price for what we feel is our IP. And I think people go through things. You know what I mean? It's negotiations. So I don't think we want any fans to be hurt. But you should protect your IP. My job is to protect the artists, and my job is to protect our copyrights. And hopefully they work everything out.
Right. I don't think there's a problem with that. There was a big, and you're not in Atlanta because you're a well-traveled man, but the long living battle. I've been at this a long time. Obviously not as long as you, but I've been at this a long time. But the long battle between artists and DJs, right? There was a giant discussion in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you what happened. Bunch of DJs got together. Bunch of artists got together.
Mhm.
The artists complained, why should we have to pay the DJ to get our music played,
Hey.
right? Which I'm not a DJ. I'm a radio personality, but I'm a host, right? And you don't know me from a can of beans, but the whole left to right thing, like left to right, DJ Pretty Boy Tank and FOY, I started that for them.
Wow.
So as a host, I get where the DJs are coming from because I work with them all the time, right? We're going to blow you up, and then we get no plaque, no money, no nothing, but you don't want to pay us as a DJ to market you, but you want to throw it on you want to throw $5,000 at the booty club, and she's going to dance to whatever you throw anyway, right? That makes more sense to them. So where do you stand on it? Should the artists have to invest in themselves with the DJs?
Okay, I'm a former DJ. So I grew up as
Pay me, son!
I grew up as a DJ, but I'm also a former artist.
Yeah.
So I think everybody has a value proposition. And I think that it's important for artists, especially new artists, to invest in themselves. But I also think that DJs should respect that when you go to that club and get paid for that gig that night,
You got to play it.
but you're not. What I'm saying, you're using my music, but you're not paying me for using my music to get you that gig at the club because you're playing my records. So as an artist, you understand the little dynamic there?
I would agree, but don't agree because
We can agree to disagree.
the artist is not giving me my skill to DJ. I'm a great DJ because I know how to mix.
Okay,
I'm not a great DJ because you made a record.
Yeah, I know, but you're a great DJ because even you can have all the skills in the world, but if you don't have the records, if you don't have the music.
It's a good marriage.
So that's what I'm saying. So I don't think anybody should be paying anybody. I think everybody should be respecting what they do and helping them do. I remember at a DJ was playing my records when I was at Def Jam, and so anytime I would come to the city with a Redman, Method Man, Jay, everybody, I would take it to his club. So he made his thing off of the artist
coming in the club. But you see what I'm saying though? That he's getting something from it.
I got it. So what I'm saying is, if we look at the partnership and everybody's value proposition is there, the DJ has to be respected,
right?
But also the artist has to be respected in a way where I think it's a give take. And I always say when people talk about paying, you come. It's a transactional relationship.
Okay.
I want an emotional relationship. I want to know what the fuck you got to do.
Right.
And I want you to tell you what I'm trying to do. And if we can come to a point where there's a mutual understanding of us getting what we got to get,
right,
let's go get it.
And I think that conversation right there needs to happen a lot more between artists and DJs, where they're not telling each other what they're looking for. When I first met the Migos before they had a deal, right? We was in Club Mansion. Now you're not from Atlanta, but.
No, I've been coming here 25 years.
Right,
Shout out to Migos.
Okay, but when I first met them, their biggest song was
Hannah Montana. Which one?
No, it was Jumping Out the Gym.
Okay.
It was an online record. This is before they had it. No one knew who they were. Okay, so I was always in these college parties in Mansion. We used to do like 2,000 people on a Friday just because it was Friday. They used to buy a section over there and they'd be like, "Yo, ET man, please." And I had a thing back in the day where I would put these two records up against each other and let people vote on it. And they'd be like, "Man, put me on Battlegrounds. Put me on."
And I was Battlegrounds.
Right. So when I created that, it was for that. So all these people would go on there and they vote for them. This is before they had a deal or anything, right? And you know, it was just like, okay, I believe in these guys, right? It was all love. It's all good. You know what I mean? And they blow up and they become all these things. And then it's so easy for them to forget. It's like, man, I ain't get a plaque. I ain't get a appreciate you, brother. Seen Offset the other day, right? And he gave me this big hug and love. It's like, oh, Brand, you was part of the beginning of my career.
Wow.
And here I am dealing with looking at the labels and they're trying to tell me stuff about this. I'm like, bruh, I want to look at the labels. I'm like, you're welcome. Don't tell me what to say to these guys.
Right.
Because you didn't even know they existed till I was, you know what I mean?
You was in the gym.
I was in the gym. I'm in the gym, son.
Right.
And you kind of get to that like kind of frustration part of it. But I do understand that it's a marriage and it's a balance of conversation. And I will say that I never had that conversation with them. I just thought they were dope.
But let me. You also have to understand. We're raising young men and women. Yeah. They're kids, and so they're going through what they see.
Yeah.
And so it's like I tell anybody before they sign, I say, I'm not signing an artist and signing a human being. I'm signing somebody that will be somebody's mother, father, older brother, sister, and we're going to have a real conversation. So I try to humanize the business and have those conversations. We did Migos, culture album,
Yeah.
with Coach and P, shout out to QC. The conversations were always had. You know what I mean? And one thing I don't want you to forget, and the listeners, that when you travel the journey of being an artist and an intern and executive and CEO, and you do all this, it all comes back to the DJ, yo. It always comes back to the first time that record was played,
Right.
the first reaction, and as an artist, I appreciate everybody on the journey.
Right.
I appreciate as an executive, I appreciate, and it's why I still come out and do the things I do, because it's just, I'm a grown ass man, you know what I mean? But I'm a love of our culture. And so, I'm gonna be in the gym.
But the honcho tonight is gonna be the big deal.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I know that's a with honcho right now, that record's kind of going everywhere, speaking of DJs in the clubs, right? And a lot of the clubs that I do, thank God, I'm booked like 6 days a week. You know what I mean? So I'm hosting a lot of different stuff.
That was a little flex, guys, so you know.
A little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Can I do this a little bit? They come to get me. But when you're out here and I'm working with all these different DJs and I get to hear all these records, I get to hear what's coming up, what's not coming up. And the cool thing nowadays is because there's no more video platforms, right? People like where my DJs are at, they DJ through with the videos. So every time they mix in the video that they're DJing plays, that's the only time people get to see the videos now. So in the club, people are like this, they're dancing, and they're going.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like the DJ now has become the new BET and the DJ. He's the new video. He's the YouTube guy and the DJ. Especially the DJs that do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know.
No, you do know. Everybody has to evolve. What technology has done, and also of the evolution of content and short content, long form. It's saying, how do you survive? What's the next phase? Remember. You used to play certain records at certain times in clubs and the whole thing. And now I think DJs, if you know your audience, you know how to move your audience. You're the blood of the party. You know what I mean? So to me, I just think what if I was still talking about Run DMC?
Right.
Right. I wouldn't be here talking about honcho selling out, it's 17 minutes a venue. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that. And so to me, the same pressure I put on you guys to evolve as radio hosts and DJs and the culture, I put it on myself and 300 every day. That's our job.
This is I was trying to read up on this, and I'm not a big fan of a lot of different search engines, because nowadays they're controlled now. So I don't really know what's what. But I was trying to read this. I'm like, okay, so there was a joint venture umbrella deal. I have to close my eyes to think about this. There was a joint venture umbrella deal with is it Elektra Records? Well, which record is it?
It's Elektra. Okay. It depends on. I'm trying to figure out where you're going.
And $400 million with Warner Brothers. I'm like cash, and then I'm like all that kind of money. And then the second part of that is like, can you give me a piece?
I'll give you a peace of mind. Listen, we started a company in 2013 called 300.
Okay.
And I was blessed to have the Fetty Waps and the Meg Thee Stallions and the Migos and the Shy Glizzies and the Ted T Grizzlies and go down the list, and the YSLs. Shout out to YSL, the Doug, the Gun. I mean, I've had the opportunity to be blessed, and there came a point in time where, as an entrepreneur, I felt it was time for this crew of young people to become entrepreneurs. Go inside a building, learn how to have access to more resources and power around the world, to give them the benefit that I had when we sold Def Jam back in the day, and when we took Warner Private Public. And so luckily, Warner Music Group said that they wanted to be in business with us for a long time, so they bought the company. That's where the $400 million came.
Okay, so that part. Okay, there we connect that part.
And then
they said cash though. Was it cash?
Then there was there was 300. It was a company called Elektra.
Okay.
That's going to be celebrating their 75th anniversary that they wanted me to oversee with 300. So I said, well, I'm going to call it 300 Elektra Entertainment. So that's where the 3E whole thing come from.
Got
you.
Know what I'm okay. I was just trying to put it together, so I couldn't understand it. I just knew it was a whole lot of money that I never touched. salute to you, by the way, for that. By
God
the way,
bless you,
man.
brother.
But just being a veteran in the game, man. Do you still find the happiness in the newness of an artist? Like, I understand you wanting to be there for their first part, but what about the excitement part? You know, are you still like as excited when you see somebody like, ooh, I remember when I was just excited about back in the day with DMX and this other, this and Jay-Z, and I'm just as excited for so and so. Like, do you still find that joy and excitement in this?
I find it every single day of my life.
Man, that's dope, man.
When I hear a record that I love, I'll get up and start dancing to it. When I hear a voice that I feel can change the world.
Yeah.
I remember Fetty Wap coming into the office, and people was like, "Yo, his eye." Like, I'm like, "Fuck, his eye."
Right.
Yo,
hear
this? I'm like, y'all don't hear it. So it's a different thing. And even when I heard the Friends record from Honcho, the way he just said it, the story that he told with it, that just made me, I knew what it was.
Right.
T Grizzly's Loophole.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Him and 21. You hear that record? It just make you, first off, you want to say free YSL.
Right.
Then it make you just feel a certain way. And so I can't, the thing, I'm not in the music business. I'm not in the music business.
Uh-huh.
I live the music business. I am hip hop. I live it. It's not a job to me. You can't pay me $1 or $10 million to do what I do.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. I love every aspect
Yeah.
of this business.
Yeah.
And that's why I do it every day.
You're not part of the culture. You are the culture. Is what it is.
I'll let y'all get whatever.
Oh my God.
Definition
Whatever
to
analogy.
it. Yeah.
I mean, when you're part of it, when you are of it, it's the foundation of who you are. It's not a lifestyle when you don't even know any other life thing. It's just who you are.
I never worked a day in my life.
That's crazy.
Never worked a day in my life.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love hearing a record for the first time. I love seeing making a record with artists.
Right.
And more importantly, I mean, even the owner of Streetz, I've been with him for 30 years. I know when he wasn't. So
right.
To see where he is now, to see where you said you've been here for 20-something years.
Yeah.
I remember coming here doing Freaknik. I remember.
I wasn't here for that part.
I
was here for like the early 2000s. You know what my mother just said me? It's funny you said that. My mother, I got into this industry. You want to hear a joke? It's not a joke, but here's a serious thing. I got into this industry known as E.T. the Entertainer at first. You know how I got that name?
No.
I could dance like a Chris Brown type of thing, and I once choreographed the Honda Battle of the Bands, Morris Brown University. And my mom reminded me today. She sent me a certificate. It said, and it's got my name on it. It says E.T. Master choreographer for Honda Battle of the Bands. I was like, damn, I forgot I did that.
Wow. Yo, I want to see him. I want to see him do it. How about we do this? We recreate the Battle of the Bands.
Right. We're going to recreate that. But no, man, a salute to you, man. And honestly, I'm such a fan of just being part of this culture. I could literally talk to you about this business all day. I have a friend of mine. He's older. Being from LA, OGs are respected where I'm from, homie. Mm-hmm. So, like, I have a friend of mine. His name is Rhythm D. He's been a producer since he produced for Eazy-E.
Wow.
And Tupac and Snoop and everybody. He used to battle Dr. Dre. He's older, right? Me and him talk all the time, bro. Like, he just talks about the game. He's still a producer nowadays, but he's with he's got all the new technology, whatever. But it's just funny to hear his stories, and it's like he still has this excitement as a producer. And he was the first one to ever teach me what the difference between a beat maker was and a producer. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Because you've been a rapper a long time, but you wasn't the sounding the same way until you got with Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? You've been this doing for a long time, but it wasn't until you got with Pharrell that you started sounding like this. You know what I mean? So it matters. It matters who your teammates are around that are cheering you on. So it all goes back to you in the beginning when you said being there in the beginning, cheering them on, is developing, or producing them in a way to be bigger than what they know they're going to be.
Yeah, if you have a little brother, if you have a daughter or son, you understand when you get to that point.
Yes,
you'll understand what it is and really what we do every day by having people trusted with our lives. They right. trust us with their career, and I just want to say before I go, man, for my man to be sitting behind bars over lyrics.
Ridiculous.
And we're doing a lot of work. We just launched another campaign. Of course, we got Protect Black Art, but we're going to go Free Our Art because we have some laws in different places. And I think you guys should really understand we're the only music that's being attacked.
Yeah.
The only music that's being attacked for what.
Because if I let y'all hear some of these country lyrics.
Listen, you can go back to I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. You know what I mean? You can go back to any song back in the day, and I just want to make sure you take our time when you out here voting and you're out here having a real conversation.
Yeah.
That we're putting people in place, and I want you guys to pray for YSL. I want you guys to pray for Young Thug, his 6 children, his family, the community, Cleveland Ave, because he's a soldier that believes that we don't have to be what they say we are.
Yeah.
We can be things greater. He built a great business. He empowered a lot of people, and I think about him every day. So
yeah,
Atlanta,
no, I gave him his first like bigger interview in Atlanta. I was his first interview. I was the one that showed him how his record blew up. He didn't know because he was like, we was interviewing him. He had a black hoodie on. This is long. This is only when he had mixtapes like that were like on live mixtapes back in the day with Thug. And we gave him his first interview, and he was like, man, I don't know, man, my record just took off. And so I said, nah, bro. I was like, no, that's not what happened. Well, what happened was the record took off because what was going on was, remember when the Nene was the big deal? Okay, the Nene dance. What happened was those guys that were in the school, every time they wanted to do the dance to put on YouTube, they would find a Young Thug record.
Wow.
So what happened when we showed him was like, look at all these YouTube channels and they're using your records, bro. And he was sitting there looking at the screen going, he had no clue. I remember if I find the video, I'll send you the link. But it's him sitting next to me looking at the computer screen, and I'm showing him like, this is how you blew up, bro. Wow. It wasn't just you're dope, but I'm saying like there's
other
reason.
things, yeah. But that was you understand what you did? It was a teaching moment.
Yeah.
And how you raise the kids and we pour into them. It's not just one person. It takes the community. And so I applaud you for that. And he's having a lot of those moments right now. And I just pray for him, and I want to see him home soon.
He'll be back, bro. I can't wait, man. But thank you. I don't want to take up your time. I can tell you I could sit here and talk to you all day. I know you got ish to do. Don't want to talk to my light-skinned curly head ass all day, bro. I appreciate you for being here, though, man. Much more success, much more money. And if you ever get a piece of heart in you, man, let me know and pay for my trust funds. There it is, man.
All good. Shout out to Honcho. Let's get it.
Honcho, what up?